Yeah, it was certainly an eventful evening. Yeah, I mean, talk a little bit about that as far as some of the surprises. We had a great main event, Gunther Sheamus Intercontinental Championship 2. That was an awesome match. But we had the show was kind of highlighted by the return and debut of Zelina Vega and Legado del Fantasma, respectively. We kind of had a feeling they would show up. Zelina wasn't reported until the day of that she was in the area at the Boston airport, was going to be at the show. And she ended up returning alongside Legado, replacing Elektra Lopez. Now, was kind of skeptical when I saw that on paper, but it only took me 2 seconds to realize and kind of, come to terms with the fact Elektra, as we've discussed before many times here on the show, is just not that good in the ring. She's just really not that good. But I also have to give her credit, though, for her experience, because she hasn't been doing this very long. She's not terrible. She's just not main roster ready, in my personal opinion. Could she be, a manager? Sure, because I can't sit here and say, let's not, we can't put Elektra Lopez in the main roster because they have B-Fab there, too. B-Fab is awful in the ring from what we know in NXT, but is she going to be wrestling many matches? She'll be wrestling probably Zelina Vega, at least in a multi-person match, or God forbid we get a one-on-one match between the two. I have no desire to see that, but they arrived, they attacked Hit Row, and that's their first feud out of the gate. Santos, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro, the former Raul Mendoza, the new name for him. They all arrived as a unit on SmackDown, and they have Zelina Vega. I don't want to say as their mouthpiece, because Santos can talk perfectly fine. Obviously, it's not like an Andrade situation where his English isn't the best. Santos, as we know, have been saying for many years now, the guy is great. He's the full package. His mic skills are exceptional. He can go in the ring. He looks like a star, doesn't need a mask. Not that anyone needs a mask, but, he can go without the mask, whatever. Because he had a mask previously in Lucha and in AAA and whatever. Not in WWE, and the guy's a star. So I thought the debut was great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring to the Blue brand.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought it was a perfect, the way that it was kind of teased, when they were coming out, it's funny because they showed, a video package. It was, Hit Row walking out, and I did see, the Escalade or, the SUV, the black SUV, behind them. And then, popped in my head, maybe we got Legado, because last time we saw them in NXT, they were leaving in the...
Yo, I did not notice that at all. Holy shit. That is fucking... I gotta go back and watch that now.
So I noticed that, and I was I'm okay, maybe we'll get something here. And then literally, once they started getting attacked, obviously you could see the masks and shit. I'm oh, there's Legado. My dad had obviously no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
This isn't watching NXT, but I was holy shit, and it was really cool. But yeah, if you go back and watch the clip of Hit Row walking out, there's a black SUV that's behind them with the lights on.
Oh man, that is wow. And knowing how they've done certain things since Triple H took over, I'm sure that was intentional. There's a lot of things, a little small details. Holy shit, that's a great observation. I got to go back and watch that now. That's definitely done on purpose, I'm sure.
Yeah, once I saw it, it literally clicked in my head.
So do you think that they left NXT 2 months ago? That was the last time we saw them on the show in the SUV. They took off in that car on the show. What took them so long to drive from Florida to Mass? And in the 2 months it took them there to get to Mass, at what point did they drop off Elektra Lopez and pick up Zelina Vega?
I honestly have no idea. I'm glad, though. I like Zelina. I think she's a lot better than Lopez, so I'm glad that they made the switch. I think it makes sense, too. So
I think it's a great use of not only, replacing Elektra and whatever and having Zelina in that role, but for Zelina specifically, I think it's a massive upgrade, not just for Legado, but also for her. I think I told you this over text, but... she's fine in the ring. I think she's one of the weaker women's performers they have in the ring. She's not awful, but I just haven't seen many memorable matches she's had. She's competent, is what I mean. And, they had her win Queen of the Ring last year, the Queen's Crown, whatever you want to call it. She was tag team champion for a few months. All right, cool, but there really wasn't much more of a role for her, on her own in any of the... hopefully no longer is she Queen Zelina. I just realized that because they were calling her Queen Zelina, before she took off earlier this year and took time off. But, on her own, she's not overly interesting. The Carmella tag team ran its course. Raw doesn't need her. Not that SmackDown really benefits from having her in, the main title picture or whatever. But, she was always great as Andrade's manager. And, that just, I'm really happy to see her back in a managerial role. I feel like that's the perfect fit for her. And she can occasionally wrestle as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought it was a great return, debut, whatever you really want to call it. And I think she's the perfect person to replace Lopez.